I feel like by the time we're living in dome cities, the apocalypse will have already happened. I mean, when you're talking about humans impeding on nature, it has more to do with what we define as progress. In the very beginning of Christianity and the Bible, people believed that they had the right to improve the environment. And it's all about what that word improve means. And to them, it's creating a garden, creating food, improving the land, even if that means deforesting it. I think it's interesting because in order to progress, in order to become civilized, you actually have to dominate nature in some aspects. The very beginnings of civilization and settled civilization were based upon the fact that you could dominate and control the landscape. A lot of the very early civilizations used irrigation to make crops, and it was from that excess and surplus of food that you could have larger populations. And it was from the beginnings of agriculture, having that surplus of food, that led to larger populations, that led to the specialization of trade, which is I think where our modern view of progress really comes from. I mean, global warming in and of itself will lead to a lot of change in climate, more tsunamis, more hurricanes, changed precipitation patterns. Deserts will become more and become expanded deserts. Wet regions will become even more wet.
We'll progressively be exposed to, in all likelihood, more and more of these types of events, causing a certain degree of havoc on our cities and our structures, and the things that aren't built well won't survive.
I guess first we should address resource depletion. To deplete resources really just means we can't recover them from how we've used them. There are some that we can, that are more easily, depleted than others, but most things with intelligent manufacturing can be constructed to recover our input resources. With the dome city, you create one large surface area around a large volume of air, and actually a hemispherical case is probably a spherical or hemispherical case is probably the most efficient in that regards. There's several kind of cases for why a dome city would be a nice thing to live in. There's sort of the environmental mediation aspect, that you're separating yourself from the larger kind of weather and climatological patterns that are existing outside of your domed off zone.
So I have a little example of a basic like tensegrity structure. It's a combination of compression elements, structuring it outward, pushing it outward, and tensional elements, pulling it inwards or fixing the tension or fixing the compression elements in place. Funny enough, it's called a Manhattan toy, which is where one of the dome proposals. So being able to structure a dome out of basically cables and floating compression elements, you're capable of creating a vast structure at a relatively light weight. Climate change is almost nothing more than like our own world becoming alien around us. We're no longer accustomed to its weather patterns. We have to design as if we're on an alien planet. We have to like design with closed loops in mind, like resource recovery, resource recycling. These are all kind of notions in sustainability that are like becoming sort of part of the public consciousness, and to some extent, in their extremist case, they're used in space architecture, like where you're living completely free of all the Earth's natural benefits. We have to provide everything in another world. So coming back to the Earth, we might find it a nice spaceship in general to travel on, but with increasingly crazy weather patterns, we have to design ways to persist despite those weather patterns occurring, or design structures that will withstand whatever disaster the new climate can throw at us.